Hey BookTube, welcome back to the History Shelf. I am Peg, your host. I hope everyone had a lovely Memorial Day weekend. I'm here today with a historical fiction spotlight of sorts. I've got a bunch of new and upcoming books with a historical bent, as you'll see as I go through these, but they look to be really interesting reads and I wanted to share them with you. So if historical fiction is your jam and jelly, then you've come to the right place, because as you know in this channel, I love history, but I also like to read historical fiction. This book I was sent by the authors, and I'm really excited by it. This is called Of White Ashes by Constance Hayes Matsumoto and Kent Matsumoto. This book is brand new. It is out right now from Apprentice House Press, which is the imprint of Loyola University, Maryland. So I was able to get an advanced review copy, which is fantastic. It says here, separated, let me just hold this up for you. And they sent me a beautiful card, which was just lovely. Yes, I can't wait to now eagerly anticipate a finished copy as well. But this is historical fiction, and with a kind of a feel-good, kind of a love story. So it says here, the bombing of Pearl Harbor propels America into World War II and two Japanese Americans into chaos. Separated by the Pacific, each embarks on a tumultuous path to survive childhood and live the American dream. Ruby Ishimaru loses her liberty and is uprooted from her Hawaii home to Japanese American incarceration camps on the mainland. Koji Matsuo strains under the menacing clouds of the Japanese war machine and Hiroshima atomic bombing while concealing a dangerous secret, one that threatens his family's safety. When destiny brings Ruby and Koji together in California, their chemistry is magnetic, but wounds of trauma run deep and threaten their love as another casualty of war. Inspired by the true stories of the author's family, Of White Ashes crosses oceans and cultures, illuminating the remarkable lives of ordinary people who endure seemingly unbearable hardship with dignity and patience. Their experiences compel us to reflect on the resilience of humanity and the risk of history repeating itself. So this actually published on May 1st. Again, it's printed by an imprint of Loyola University, Maryland, Apprentice House Press, Of White Ashes. And I can't wait to dive in. I hope to get to a lot of my historical fiction this summer. And I am taking a week off for my birthday at the end of the month, and Of White Ashes will be on my bedside reading table. So check out Of White Ashes by Constance Hayes Matsumoto and Kent Matsumoto. All right, next on the list, it's a really juicy looking novel. This is called Charlotte's War by J. Lawrence Graham. And this is put out by Greenleaf Book Group Press. Nice big thick read. I love the cover. Just love that. It's a gold eagle right there, just kind of embossed. It says here, this epic novel follows one extraordinary woman, American woman, as she grieves and triumphs through the horrific reality of three wars that threaten the men she loves. Oh, wow, so it's told from a different perspective, and these type of books on war, you know, historical fiction novels, war novels. Charlotte Fletcher is in the fight of her life to save her firstborn son from facing a truth she knows all too well, the dreadful impact of war. First, she watched her own brother suffer the destructive consequences of youthful bravado in World War II. Then she waved goodbye to her husband, a decorated hero, who sailed into harm's way a second time in the Korean conflict. Now, with her son headed to Vietnam, Charlotte is using all the arrows in her quiver to stop the conflict. As Charlotte weaves through major world events, her remarkable will and intelligence position her to offer key insights to leaders negotiating peace in Vietnam. After being raised in China by missionary parents, Charlotte completed her studies at Radcliffe and Harvard and received a Berkeley PhD in anthropology. giving her unique expertise to persuade the renowned decision-makers she encounters. Doesn't this sound fascinating? The formidable connections Charlotte forges over the years, including visionaries such as JFK, Henry Kissinger, and even Ho Chi Minh, culminate in a surprising and captivating convergence of personalities, power, and politics. Again, from Greenleaf Book Group Press, Charlotte's War, a novel by J. Lawrence Graham. This just sounds like a different approach to things, and I'm excited to read this. For fans of big, chunky, meaty historical fiction, that a big read, we're talking 696 pages, almost 700 pages. There is a brand new swashbuckling story out there from Melville House Publishers. This actually came out in February, but I'm getting a look at it now, so I'm really excited. This is, the name of the book is Jamie McGillivray, The Renegade's Journey by John Sayles. Look at this bad boy. A very big book. Put out by Melville House. I'll hold that up for you. So this is out right now. It says here, it begins in the heat of a vicious war. At the Battle of Culloden, I should say, in Scotland in 1746, the last desperate stand of Bonnie Prince Charlie, pretender to the British throne, Jamie McGillivray narrowly escapes a roadside execution, only to be recaptured and sentenced to indentured servitude in colonial America for the term of his natural life. His travels are paralleled by those of Jenny Ferguson, a poor young woman swept up on false charges in the wake of Culloden. I don't know why I can only get it on the third instance. And likewise sent in chains to the New World. And John Sayles, he's an acclaimed author, director, screenwriter. I'm pretty sure I've seen his name in movies I've seen before, you know, so John Sayles. So this novel follows Jamie and Jenny through servitude, revolt, escape, recapture, guerrilla warfare, and romantic entanglements. In America, Jamie must navigate the treacherous no-man's land of the proxy war between the British and French and ever-shifting Native American alliances, ultimately becoming a valued member of the Lenape nation that is desperately resisting the tide of European encroachment. Then Jenny becomes a mistress, a wife, and a bride of Christ in her own struggle to escape bondage or the gallows, somehow never losing her sense of adventure. Pawns in a deadly historic game where the rules keep changing, the two continue to cross paths with each other, as well as some of the leading figures of the era. The devious Lord Lovat, a young and ambitious George Washington, and the Lenape chief feared throughout the Ohio Valley, Shingas the Terrible. Capturing the dynamic history of the mid-18th century in cinematic, of course, you're a screenwriter, and picaresque detail, Jamie McGillivray confirms John Sayles' status as one of America's great storytellers. So if you're interested in this, sounds interesting to you, check it out at your library or your bookstore. It is out now. Okay. So another book, I'll show you the books that are out right now. I was intrigued by this book. This actually came out, let's see here. And I love translated literature. This came out actually, so this first edition in America came out this year though. Okay, so this came out earlier this year. This is hardcover. This is called Tomb of Sand, a novel translated by, it's by Gitanjali Shri, and the translated by Daisy Rockwell. And my dog is named Daisy. Sorry. This is Harper Via. They do a lot of works in translation. I got the hardcover of this book. This is, I'm not sure what time frame it's set in. Gitanjali Shri. I didn't pronounce her name correctly. Gitanjali Shri. Gitanjali. Okay, Gitanjali Shri is the author's name. 80-year-old Ma slips into a deep depression after the death of her husband. Despite her family's cajoling, she refuses to leave her bed. Her responsible eldest son and dutiful daughter-in-law attend to her every need, while her favorite grandson, the cheerful and gregarious Sid, tries to lift her spirits with his guitar. But it is only after Sid's younger brother, Sirius' son, a young man pathologically incapable of laughing, brings his grandmother a sparkling golden cane covered with butterflies that things begin to change. This actually might not be historical fiction as much as like magical realism, but we're including the book, and I want to read it to you. It says, with a new lease on life, thanks to the magic of the cane, Maud gets out of bed and embarks on a series of adventures that baffles even her unconventional feminist daughter, Betty. She ditches her cumbersome saris, develops a close friendship with a hydra, and sets off on a fateful journey that will turn the family's understanding of themselves upside down. Gitanjali Shree's magnificent novel explores timely and timeless topics, including Buddhism, global warming, feminism, partition. That part is historical. The gender binary, transcending borders, and the profound joys of life. So, sounds like an interesting story. So, Tomb of Sand by Gitanjali Shree, Harper Via Press. Okay. Some other books that have arrived over time. This one is, I'm including this book just because everyone really knows this author, and Farrar, Straus and Giroux have published this. It's brand new. It's out right now. It's a collection of essays, I believe, by Mario Vargas Llosa. It's called The Call of the Tribe, translated by John King. Says, from its origins, the liberal doctrine has represented the most advanced forms of democratic culture, and it is what has most defended us from the indistinguishable call of the tribe. This book hopes to make a modest contribution to that indispensable project. In The Call of the Tribe, Mario Vargas Llosa surveys the readings that have shaped the way he thinks and has viewed the world over the past 50 years. The Nobel laureate, tireless in his quest to probe the nature of the human animal, maps out the liberal thinkers who helped him to develop a new body of ideas after the great ideological traumas of his disenchantment with the Cuban Revolution and his alienation from the ideas of Jean-Paul Sartre, the author who most inspired Vargas Llosa in his youth. The works of Adam Smith, Jose Ortega y Gasset, Friedrich Hayek, Karl Popper, Raymond Aron, Isaiah Berlin, and Jean-Francois Revel helped the author enormously during those uneasy years. They showed him another school of thought, one that placed the individual before the tribe, nation, class, or party, and defended freedom of expression as a fundamental value for the exercise of democracy. So this book charts the evolution of his personal ideology, and to me that just sounds fascinating. And okay, so each chapter is a reflection on the men that the writers and thinkers that I've mentioned already. This is going to be fantastic. Can't wait to dive in. The Call of the Tribe by Maria Vargas Llosa. So this one is technically not fiction. I don't know why this one. I don't know why. I just wanted to include it. Sorry. Back to the fiction, guys. Okay, so another interesting book. I think this is also from Greenleaf Book Group Press. And I've heard from the author, and I said I would love to read your book because this sounds really interesting. This is called Those Who Would Be King, The People's Prince by Brent J. Ludwig. Again, Greenleaf Book Group Press. This is an advanced copy. This book came out... No, this is coming out. This is an advanced review. This comes out in July. July 11th, Those Who Would Be King. Let me tell you a little bit about this, and I'll hold this up while I read about it. Okay. What about this book? Well, we've got King Mabanda, ruler of Mali Zealand, controls his country through divine right with a violent, omnipotent hand. The king's son, Mandabala, is also a loathsome tyrant in training who has grown up with the opulence and privilege of an uber-wealthy prince. But when the king meets Shegeku, the only captive survivor of a border war with a neighboring nation, The prisoner tells of switching his own brother at birth with the king's actual son. The king immediately extricates his true heir, Matteo, from his rundown shanty and ensconces him in the royal palace to take his rightful place as the crown prince of Maliziland, while Mandibala is thrown out of the palace and forced to live in the nearby slums. The benevolent new prince experiences the trappings and privileges of wealth and power, and ultimately embarks upon an economic plan for Maliziland that will enable the country to become economically prosperous and self-sustaining. Meanwhile, the true brothers, Shigeku and Mandibala, plot to overthrow the regime so corruption and self-serving depravity can again reign supreme. This powerful novel, full of twists and turns, heroes and villains, explores the corruption of power, the legacy of colonialism, and the putative integration of democracy. All right. It says here the book also explores the current underlying developmental challenges facing sub-Saharan Africa and seeks to enlighten and educate Western world readers on the challenges facing the Dark Continent. So, yeah, this is going to be a really fascinating story, I think. And it comes out July 11th from Greenleaf Book Group. All right, let me do a quick time check here. All right, what we have next here? We have, this book is probably already out. This came out in April, but this looks like a neat little Western of sorts. This is called Where Coyotes Howl by Sandra Dallas. I've never read anything by Sandra Dallas, so yeah. Where Coyotes Howl. So this one is actually set in 1916. The two-street town of Wallace is not exactly what Ellen Webster had in mind when she accepted a teaching position in Wyoming, but within a year's time she's fallen in love, both with the high plains and with a handsome cowboy named Charlie Bacon. Life is not easy in the flat brown corner of the state where winter blizzards are unforgiving and the summer heat relentless. But Ellen and Charlie face it all together, their relationship growing stronger with each shared success and each deeply felt tragedy. Ellen finds purpose in her work as a rancher's wife and in her bonds with other women settled on the prairie. Not all of them are so lucky as to have loving husbands. Not all came to Wallace willingly, and not all of them can survive the cruel seasons. But they look out for each other, share their secrets, and help one another in times of need. And the needs are great and constant. The only city to speak of, Cheyenne, is miles away, making it akin to the Wild West and rural Wallace. In the end, it is not the trials Ellen and Charlie face together that make them remarkable, but their love for one another that endures it all. So, historical fiction, kind of like a love story, romance. This is by St. Martin, put out by St. Martin's Press, written by Sandra Dallas. Let me know if it floats your boat. Where Coyotes Howl. Oh, another book I received a little bit ago and is out right now, and I'm really, this should be good. In light of last year's, the Queen passing last year. It's called Coronation Year by Jennifer Robson. Yeah, this came out. Woo, it's getting rave reviews, but let me just read it real quick to you. So it's Coronation Year 1953, and a new queen is about to be crowned. The people of London are in a mood to celebrate, none more so than the residents of the Blue Lion Hotel. Edie Howard, owner and operator of the floundering Blue Lion, has found the miracle she needs. On Coronation Day, Queen Elizabeth, in her gold coach, will pass by the hotel's front door, allowing Edie to charge a fortune for rooms and, barring disaster, save her beloved home from financial ruin. Edie's luck might just be turning, all thanks to a queen she's unlikely to ever meet. This is so interesting. When anonymous threats focused on Coronation Day, the Blue Lion, and even the Queen herself, disrupt their mood of happy optimism. Edie and her friends must race to uncover the truth, save their home, and expose those who seek to erase the joy and promise of Coronation Year. So, right, so that is out right now, Coronation Year, for all things royal. Let's see what else we have next. This looks fascinating. This is Well, okay, this is coming out in a little while. Maybe I'll save these for next time. All right, guys, maybe I'll keep it kind of short. Okay, let me tell you about this one last book that is coming out June 13th. This is Nikki, another translated work. Nikki by Christos Komenitis. Translated by Patricia Felisa Barbado. And this is put out by Other Press. So this is coming next month, or this month now. No, it's still, okay. It'll be June later this week. Okay. Let's see here. Born in 1938, Nikki, the daughter of the Deputy Secretary General of the Greek Communist Party, is swept up in turmoil before her first birthday. Her parents are arrested, and she joins her mother in exile on an island near Santorini. Growing up, she experiences the Italian and German invasion, the Nazi occupation, and the Civil War that came after, often caught between her socialist values and those of the right-wing establishment to which half her relatives belong. Through her memories and the stories of her family, with roots on both coasts of the Aegean Sea, Nikki also tells the history of Greece and Asia Minor from the late 19th century to the middle of the 20th. Her remarkable tales, full of humor and verve in spite of hardship, are populated by working-class heroes, privileged elites, daring revolutionaries, and free-spirited bohemians. Fantastic! This sounds kind of fun. So this is Nikki. A novel set in, Greece and all the exciting, just the zeitgeist of the time, the different politics going on. That should be fun. You can see a lot of parallels too between she has socialist values and half of her family have right-wing values. It kind of mirrors a lot of what's going on in this country today. So, Nikki by Christos Komenitis. I hope I got that right, by Other Press. All right, guys, so we'll just keep that kind of brief for today. I'll save up some of these others for you for another day. They're coming out later in the year, September and October. So let me know what you thought of these books, what appeals to you, and we'll talk soon at the History Shelf. Oh, at the History Shelf. Let me try that again. Take 3. We'll see you soon at the History Shelf. Bye.